She's back after a 3-week hiatus and she's ready to give her expert opinion on this weekend's performances. It is Dame Karen Hardy. I love the fact that you've been having loads of tweets and messages from people saying, are you having a nice time in Benidorm? You weren't really in Benidorm at all, were you?
I'm going to... Why do they think I'm in Benidorm? I'm in New Zealand.
I know, so we were a bit naughty. Welcome back, though. We've really missed you. I'm so glad you're here. It's all been going on since you've been away. But incredible standard. We'll talk through Blackpool and the incredible performances. Frankie and Kevin and their quick step. Let's have a look. Tell me what you thought. Len said it was her best dance so far.
Absolutely brilliant. Now, she has put on untold amounts of great numbers, but what I wanted to pick up on here is we've had great performance, but look how she eats that floor alive. She's made her performances look really easy, first class, no errors, with a feeling of no errors. But what we're seeing now is the skill of the technique really coming in, because scatter chassés could have been lumpy and heavy, but she was driving across the floor and she kept up with Kevin all the way through that. Absolutely loved the number, thought it was brilliant. Was it my favourite? She's done so many great numbers. I think it's just down to personal preferences.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Go like this.
Is it one of them?
Got it? Jake and Jeanette and their American Smooth. So many lifts. Were you impressed by this?
Yes. Now, OK, now we've got to take this gently, OK, because I don't want everyone to start hating me on this. I thought the number was fantastic, and I think Jeanette is so clever with her choreography. But was it a real American Smooth? Because if the professionals are lifting the professional, it should have been the celebrity showing me how he can lift her. So from that point of view, it threw me. The actual number was incredible. For Blackpool, look at that song. Every beat he hit, it was dynamic, but could have been a show dance for the final, that one.
I know, often when things like that happen, you're like, keep that for the show dance. You always say that. Craig said that Jake knows the importance of stillness. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yes, stillness brings a sense of dominance on the dance floor, and this is a dance that we would need that in taking control of that woman. So it's all down to skill as well, and this is where his acting would come in. So a very simple demo. My demos are going to get more easy, I'm afraid, because of one is growing now.
With child,
right.
Of course.
So when we talk about stillness, it's about being very clear on what we're going to deliver. So if I wanted to do a ronde, for example, now if I started doing all arms and heads, it gets confusing. But we have to isolate, so he has to be really in control. He has to control the arms, the head position, and then just focus on one action of the leg rondeing. So it creates this stillness and this sense of control, and I just love that. He seems to nail that with every performance.
Nice work, Jake. Sinatra and Brendan and their samba. Now, Craig thought she struggled with this a little bit. Did you agree, or did you think she was great?
Yeah, do you know what? I love her. I think she's brilliant, but there were a lot of mistakes in this dance. We got here, but what I wanted to pick up first, she dances the most incredible vaulters. Look at the crossing of the knees, the bouncing, and then here go all the mistakes. She's on the wrong foot to do the underarm turn. The promenade run all starts to go wrong, and it kicks into a deck of cards just all falling down there for her. However, she's always got that glamorous, gorgeous look about her. But at this stage of the competition, she cannot, none of the celebrities can afford to make choreography errors. Timing and choreography, the first two things that we're after. Anything on top of that's a bonus. So choreography errors now will really go against them with the judges' marks, I feel. OK, Simon and Christina and the Argentine tango, and we got a 10 from 3 of the judges, and then only an 8 from Craig. Now, whose camp were you in? I'm going to go towards the 10s. You know, I love the moment of dancing an Argentine tango, but in that ballroom, I mean, he completely captured the essence. That's a huge room. You really cannot appreciate the size of it. But he brought us into his performance. And what I've picked up on here, his stillness again, and his accuracy and balance. To do solo work with legs and actions and not to wobble. That was fantastic. And then in comes Christina, perfect pickup, perfect shape. All these things are going to go in their favour now as the competition is going to get very difficult.
It's getting really exciting as well. Let's talk about the lift at the end as well. Pixie mentioned it. What's it? Does it have a name, this lift, and how difficult is it to do?
All different lifts have different names. Probably something like a dead man's drop, but it's the other way around. What is so clever about it is it's one beat, one action. So one beat to connect, one beat to flip. That could have gone completely wrong. Holding with one arm, he could have tipped over. They could have been slightly wrong with the timing. They nailed it. You get that music, you get an action together, and it will create an applause right at the end. If they'd have just missed it, the audience might not have realised it, but they would have sort of clapped differently. One beat, one action, nailed the step, and bang, the applause came out. It was a brilliant, brilliant number.
Mark and Karen and their Charleston, universal praise for Mark from the judges. What was so great for you about this Charleston from Marky?
These two as a team are brilliant, but I have never seen such great foot swiveling. And it's a guy doing it. He just nailed this. Technically, what I love about him, we've got some of our celebrities that say started high and they've gently improved. But we've had some that have started off really quite low and we've seen a strong improvement. And Mark falls under that category. To nail that level of technique, that is going to help him. He's going to be able to use all those tools now as these numbers improve. The other thing I like with these two, I think we've got to remember, there's another clip, I just had to put it in because I love this clip. You've got to remember, these are strangers. They've probably known each other about 8 weeks. And this bit, I just love that bit of choreography. The commitment from a guy to a professional and just going, yep, you want me to do this step, you want me to make these funny faces, I'm going to do this for you. And he does it with such commitment that you believe in what he's doing. And that's what sold that dance to everybody. Fantastic, first class.
Gorgeous. Pixie and Trent and their Paso Doble. Pixie never disappoints us out on the floor. She's so good. Joint top of the leaderboard. Len praised Trent's brilliant choreography. It was packed with seriously difficult content, wasn't it?
I mean, listen to me. I'm going, every number at Blackpool was incredible. And I think if we look back over some past performances at Blackpool, the floor has almost drowned them. But on this occasion, we've got celebrities here, great performances. And Pixie, for me, this was sensational. She goes, every single step, every single beat has a step. She's into twists, she's into turns, she's got a chassé cape. There is no posing and no, you know, we always talk about hitting the line, hold the beats. This woman was attacking Trent. She was living the moment. She was driving through him. There wasn't a moment where she took the easy route of stand and pose. She hit every single line and she was living the moment with Trent, and I was just captivated by it. I
love seeing Karen Hardy this excited. We've missed you around these parts, lady. Right, Steve and Ola and their American Smooth. Now, Darcy said Steve should put a bit of light and shade into his movements. How can he go about doing that?
OK, light and shade. So let's understand what that means first of all. It's like a painting. If you just did the pencil line first, it's quite flat. But then we start putting shading, which means dark greys into blacks. Colouring, so it means quicks and slows, ups and downs, ins and outs, lefts and right. Now, what I've got here, we're going to see him go into a lunge. So he does his lovely pivots. I've slowed it down. He's going to go into this lunge here. Now, what would have worked brilliant, you see how he just stops? The line just stops, and then he'll carry out of that. If he'd have carried on into it, so it would have been a quick and a slow and bang, out we come again. That would have given it depth and dimension. And once you put light and shade, it adds emotion and it adds a feel to the movement. Rather than if you look here, you can almost feel it's flat, as though I've drawn a stick man, haven't I? There's my pencil and there's my little stick man, where we needed to put a bit of roundness and a bit of shading. Not difficult to do, it's just believing in it, because you've got to imagine Ola is flying across that floor, so he's going to go, stop! Yeah, but breathe into it, bring her back again, and it would have been even faster and even better. Still, a fantastic performance again.
Nice work, Steve. Caroline and Pasha, a 10 for her at last. I think she so deserved it for her jive. How good was Caroline?
Can I put it out there first? This was worthy of more 10s. I'm not quite sure. I think they ran out of 10s under the desk there. We say in our business, every great lady champion has excellent legs and feet. For a lady who's been dancing 10 weeks, something like that, these legs are sensational. The other thing is they've put her in a short skirt. Now, we know over the years if we've got weakness in the legs, let's put a long dress on, let's hide it, let's do all... Nothing was hidden. This was pure dancing. We did a great step there called the rolling off the arm. So she whooshes in, whooshes out again, and she still keeps up with Pasha. If we remember right back to week 1, where he was giving her that difficult choreography, and she was keeping up with him all the way, but a little bit not quite in sync. This dance was in sync, the legs were kicking, they were stunning, and we had, how many props did we have? We had hats, we had dancers on the floor with her. She looked the star of the show, worthy of more 10s.
Karen is back and everything feels right with the world. It's wonderful to see you. Karen Hardy! Wear it with pride, love, wear it with pride. She was saved.